I'm dressing this pattern on a size 14 AirX dry fly traditional barbless hook. Though Wynn doesn't stipulate a particular shade of silk, I'm keeping with the name of the fly and I'm using a vintage spool of Purcell's gossamer silk. For the body I'm using 3 fibres taken from a heron primary feather, and for the herl and head of the fly I'm going to be using a single fibre of peacock herl. For the legs I'm using a brown speckled feather taken from between the shoulders of a grey partridge. Start the fly by trapping in the tying silk a couple of millimetres behind the hook with 4 nice firm wraps of silk. Now with your scissors trim off the tag waist end of silk and bring your silk down the hook shank in nice touching turns to a point just short of the hook point itself. Now take your heron herl and simply pick and trim out 3 fibres. If you find you have too many, simply take your bodkin and fret them away. Now taking your herl, mount it onto the hook and trap it down with 5 wraps of silk, finishing at a point somewhere between the point and the end of the hook barb. Now in tight touching turns, bring your tying silk back up the hook shank to a point where the thorax will begin. Now grip the heron herl in your hackle pliers and form the body of the fly with nice, firm, symmetrical wraps of herl. Finishing where your tying silk is waiting for you. Now catching the heron herl with 3 firm wraps of silk. Now with your scissors trim off the tag. Take a single fibre of peacock herl and catch it in with 4 turns of silk. Now form a nice dense thorax of peacock herl. Before trapping it down with 2 tight turns of silk. Taking your partridge hackle, strip off one side of the feather and expose a small tying in tag. If the tag is too large, you simply trim it down with your scissors to make it more manageable. Take the hackle in your hackle pliers and take 4 firm symmetrical turns of hackle. before trapping down a hackle stalk with 3 wraps of silk. Trim off the waste end of hackle stalk and again take a single fibre of peacock herl, trim off the brittle tip and now trap down the peacock herl with 4 tight wraps of silk. Now, I can't tolerate seeing bright silk in front of herl heads, so I often dress in the herl head first, or in this case, I dull the tie-in silk with a black marker pen, just in order to hide that coloured silk. Now taking your peacock herl in your finger, form a nice dense and compact herl head. Trap down the herl with 2 firm wraps of silk before taking a single wrap of silk just in front. This is to clear away any stray fibres from the eye of the hook. Cut off the remaining herl stalk, and now with your whip finish, come in and take a 2 or 3 turn whip finish. Trim off the waste end of silk, and with your fingernail simply ping the hook eye to separate the hackle fibres. And there you have Jim Wynn's blue partridge.